All right, why not? We are going to start live. Still 2 minutes left in the shit show that is the Vikings at Green Bay. Again, the Vikings team, either they win by 1 or they lose by 40. Got that from Dustin Roberts. Great quote by him. Anybody in the house yet? I see some comments, but I'm not seeing anybody here yet. So we're going to wait and let you guys trickle in before we get started. And of course, we'll let the game also finish. This game's been over for quite a while. This game has been an absolute shit show from the start. Yeah, typical fucking Vikings. I mean, it's a lot of bounces didn't go the way. I mean, who would have thought losing Austin Schlottman would have been so huge for this team? Tony Meha, he says, no idea. Didn't show up. Yeah, defense showed up. We didn't. Hey, Davey. I'm opening up for one of you guys to hop on. We're going to kind of do a rolling co-host today. One bar is at this shit show of a game. Can't imagine what that must be like, how painful that is. Did we go for it on 4th down and Mullins just throw a bomb? Nick the Dick Mullins pulling it out and whipping it around. And that's the worst part about losing this game is that the fucking Eagles lose and the Raiders are taking it to the Niners. Great chance today to, gain ground, get the first seed, and we absolutely step on our dicks. I mean, it's just horrible. Going to hand off here. Alexander Madison, 1st down, and then some. Vikings are going to be the first team to come back from 30 points in under 2 minutes. It's going to happen today. It is going to happen. There's Ken Williams. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he may have a country album that's coming out that's going to drop this week. Hey, you don't know I'm guessing there's some pretty good-sized cocks on our team. You can be mad about the win, but don't you dare doubt the size of this team's penises. Didn't H2O Water, didn't the Raiders just tie that game up? I just thought 34-34, unless you guys are way ahead of me here. It's 34-34. That game ain't over yet. Hell no, it ain't over yet. Let's see. Nick Mullins back to pass. Throws, looks left, hits Jalen Naylor. The one guy who showed up today, Jalen Naylor, shows up. This is the real, I think that's huge. We're not going to play the Raiders. But yeah, playing the Giants in the first round, I think is huge. Today we're what Peter says that's actually track number 3 on Ken Williams' album that's dropping this Wednesday. You can find it on iTunes. The griddle guy maybe just spoiled something here. Play calling today was so bad. I think there is definitely something to say about KOC, and we'll talk about that in this one. Let's see what happens here. Nick Mullins back to pass, takes out that big old hog, whips it to KJ Osborne, touchdown. You guys already spoiled it for me. You're a bit ahead of me here. So Vikings making this one look much more respectable with the 41-17 ass kicking. It's okay, Girdle guy. Don't you worry about it. Don't you apologize for nothing. Doug, you don't mean that. You don't mean that. T-Bass is usually pretty level-headed. Today, he seems very fired up. Very fired up. Jelly Monster says, we are up to average-sized cocks. Yeah, that's what the One Bar Lupagus show is all about. ASC. Did you guys figure out that acronym? Greg Joseph nails that extra point, making us all forget about the 2 field goals he missed earlier today. Turns out Kim Williams does sing a little bit, just not professionally. Not professionally. Nick Mullins is the savior. Yeah, the psychic. He didn't see this one coming. He wouldn't have been on last week if he knew it was going to be this kind of a blowout. You guys got plenty of lift bridges ready to drink this one away, and we forget about it. Mannequin at Macy's is greater than Thielen. Yes, let's let all the anger out. Let the anger flow through you. I'm the emperor today. Mullins legacy game next week. Kirk looked panicked today. This team makes you want to punch a puppy. Don't you dare, Skull TYA. Don't you dare. Each show is going to fire one up. Hell yeah, why not? Not mad we lost. I mean that we lost. Yeah, definitely a lot to say about that, Jelly Monster. Absolutely. Osborne again playing with fire. T-Bass is right. He's absolutely right. 21 seconds left in this thing. Are we going to onside it? No, we boot it deep. I'm sure H-Joe's already seen this and out of the end zone. Schultman broke his fibula. Are you serious? Didn't you plop you? Didn't you break your fibula too? I want the psychic guy to ask my dad, where's my 10 grand? I don't know what's going on there. A lot of things going inside Davey today. Let's go Vikings. There you go, Beast Mode. Beast Mode's positive. Somewhat respectable. Not really, but add the 2 field goals. 41-23 looks better than 41-17. Packers are going to take a knee and put this one away. Packers go to 8-8. Vikings drop to 12-4. Again, blowing a great opportunity to potentially get the number 1 seed, but they really shat the bed here. Really shat the bed. All right, we'll let you guys trickle in. Game is officially over. Vikings fucking get smoked by the Packers. Worst fucking loss you could potentially have here. Lots to talk about in this one. Not a lot of it's going to be positive. I'm going to put a link up here in a second. We are going to have you guys come on, kind of do a rolling host. Let you guys co-host here for a little bit. One bar was at the game today, and yeah, hopefully he's still alive. I mean, let's see, pulling up here. All right, so here's the link. And if anyone wants to come on, be my co-host for a little bit. H2O water, rather play Giants. You know, that is the silver lining here. That is the silver lining to this one. Jacob Tobit, I believe he's the guy with the sweet jawline. Oh my God, the word wet is in the link. I did not make that. It just completely randomly showed up. Get wet with me and hop on. T-Bass wants to do a little co-hosting here. Let's get him on. T-Bass.
Hey guys. I tried to prepare you guys. I had a bad feeling. And
You did.
You know, it's kind of the thing. I'm able to step back and look at my sports teams that I root for and look at them as, okay, what would I say about this team if it wasn't, the Vikings or whatever? And I literally would say, this team ain't going nowhere. They've been lucky. Look at those defensive numbers. It's been pathetic. And then today, KOC's play calling was an absolute freaking joke. And nobody should – I don't want to hear people bitching about the defense and Ed Donatel. Let's fire Ed Donatel. KLC was horseshit today.
He was.
I mean, my God, you got the third-string center – in there, a guy that's probably on a flag football team, and you're trying to run up the middle. It's absolutely stupid.
It was stupid.
You take away JJ, and KOC has no idea what to do. Not one clue.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, my turd of the game, KOC, and I gotta say JJ. Jefferson, you want to be the best in the game? Find a way to get open. I don't give a shit. You got to show up in big games, period. You can't be the best and not show up in big games.
I love fired up T-Bass. I love this emotion from you, T-Bass.
Well, it just pisses me off when you see crap like this. It's like, we don't lose, we get blown out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't beat shitty teams by blowing them out. We got to win in the last second. I haven't been excited about this team literally since week 1 when they beat the Packers. After that, I'm like, we're not that good. We are not that good. Our record doesn't reflect our talent. We have no team depth. Somebody goes down, and you got a guy that you got off the construction site coming in, because our draft picks have been horse shit the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even keep guys on the team. I'm rambling. I'll let you go.
All right.
Skull, guys. pretty upset about this.
All right. T-Bass is definitely pissed off. He brings up some decent points here, and I think the one that he wants to talk about is Kevin O'Connell today, and I think he brought up the big point. Like, your center goes down, and it's your third string center, Chris Reed, who hasn't got a sniff all year. What do you immediately do? You run right behind him on whatever it was, second and goal, third and goal at that point. So that was absolutely head scratching. Didn't understand that at all. And we're going to talk about the Jared Alexander, Justin Jefferson here in a little bit. Let's get Davey here. He wants to say something. Davey, I know Davey's fired up with this one too.
I had a chance to cool down a little bit, but
no.
as much as this, T-Bass pretty much said it all. I'm not going to make myself sick about this. What's really disturbing, Lup, is that how do you play with one man short on the field, one series, and then you got too many men the next? I mean, that's obviously bad coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, like I said last week, the middle of the field is always wide open for these opposing receivers, and we do absolutely nothing to seal off the middle. We just let these guys keep running through it, like shoppers going through Walmart on
Black Friday.
It's ridiculous.
We're starting to lose Davey here. Oh,
I'm back. Okay. Now, either it's, bad coaching or we just got really crappy players. And I'm likely to think that it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
All right, Dave. I got to kick you, Davey. I keep losing you, buddy. I'm gonna get you out here. We'll get you on for Studs and Turds after. One Bar was hopping in here. Is he here? One Bar, are you there? I don't know. There he is. One Bar, can you hear me? You're muted. I can't unmute. Oh, all right. Talk. I can't hear you. Are you alive? I can see you. Can't hear One Bar. He's safe. Venomous is so happy. Oh, he left. I don't know what happened there. So maybe I'll get TYA to come on here with me for a little bit. Skull TYA, I got to talk to you about Jared Alexander, Justin Jefferson. Your thoughts on that whole exchange early in this one? Absolutely mugged. He was absolutely mugged. And then after the play, there was no flag. And then he does the gritty. Is that not taunting? What the hell was that?
Well, first of all, it's the Packers. They ain't going to call that shit. Jair is going to run his mouth like a little pussy-ass bitch that he is. Well, Jair, I hate to tell you, you were not on Justin Jefferson one-on-one the whole game. You had Tony Romo even said it himself. They were sending 2 or 3 people at JJ the whole game. So don't be running your mouth like you're the one to stop him by himself, because you know he's going to run his mouth. My problem is that they had a chance to be the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. They had a chance to put the puke and piss team away, shut the national media jabronis up.
Yep.
I mean, everything, and it seems like every year when they have a chance to do this, why do they never have the number 1 seed when they're a lot of times they're the best team with the talent wise? Is because they always do this shit. Mm-hmm. This is the reason why they never have the number 1 seed. But the Raiders and the San Francisco's in the overtime right now, so it looks like the Raiders QB just do a pick, so it looks like the 49ers are going to kick a field goal with this, so they just lost a 2 seed.
Yeah.
So now not only do you only get 1 home playoff game, you possibly have to go to San Fran and play San Fran. We had a shot to beat them in Minnesota. I don't know if I really want to believe in this team because it's my team, but I don't know. I'm not going to – I mean, yeah, it was an ass whipping, but I want to know how this game would have turned out differently if we didn't lose two of our starting offensive linemen, not just and then our third string center who never played before this season, and then our all pro right tackle. Now, don't get me wrong, Udo played well, but
Yeah, I actually thought he did.
It's still you could definitely tell. Yeah, they just lost the 2 seed. 49ers just won. So I don't know. I don't think they'll lose. It depends on who they play in the first round. Whether they I don't think the Pack can move up above the 7th seed. So with them being the 3 seed, it looks more and more like the Giants. I'm not afraid of the Giants.
No,
but yeah. I like I said, I don't want to take too much away from this loss. I'm pissed off more because it's the Packers.
Mm-hmm. Makes it worse.
And the two teams I hate the most in the league, they lost to by the most.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So it has not been a fun season in that aspect. But they do have 12 wins for a reason. Everybody says, well, they haven't beat good teams. Well, they did beat. They have beaten good teams. They beat Buffalo. They beat Miami. Miami's struggling now because of the same issue. Miami doesn't have any depth, But I'm not gonna rag too much on the offensive line because teams only carry at the most 8. Yeah. But person I am most disappointed in today was Joseph.
Yeah. No, I mean,
if he makes that second kick, they're only down by 8. And who knows how the game turns out.
That's true.
Instead of giving the Packers a short field and they go down and score. The defense I think played well. They just got tired at the end, I think. But I want to say they're not going to be one and done in the playoffs, but
you never know with this team. That's the thing. I'm not ready to say that either. I think, for sure we can win games weird ways. Skull T, I'm going to put you on pause here. One bar looks like he's ready.
No worries.
So let's see what we can do here. One bar, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and you're still alive. You didn't get murdered there?
I wish I would have. I wish I would have been skinned and burned alive and everything. It was
Holy
horrifying.
Shit, there's a huge spider attacking me. Okay.
Good. Let them take you.
So what was it like being there watching this fucking disgusting game?
It was it was worst imaginable. Worst imaginable.
Oh no, your lisp is back.
Is it? I don't know. Whenever I'm on
Keep going, it's the best.
Whenever I'm on whenever I'm not on Wi-Fi, I have a lisp. Just deal with it. I don't even care. I don't care. Hopefully this adds some joy to a horrible day. I hope
we're all enjoying your lisp.
What happens if I actually talk like a lisp? Does it get worse?
Yeah, it's way worse.
All right. Well, I'm not going to stay on long because nobody wants to hear my lisp.
I do.
Here's my issue. We get the block punt. We get the fumble recovery right off the bat. How the fuck do we not put any points on the board? How do we step on our dicks so bad? The weather wasn't even bad. It was warm as hell. I had my jacket off almost the entire game. How do we not?
Was the shirt still on the whole time?
Barely. How do we not put points on the board? I'm putting this one on completely. I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to listen to the announcers. Lupagus is laughing because I have a very strong list.
I don't get it.
But Kevin O'Connell, what the
kiss
hell?
Your ass.
We didn't. How do we not throw the ball more than 10 yards through 3 quarters? I'm staying on here until you kick me off.
Here's the thing: the Vikings have not played very good complementary football all season long. We've seen it. Defense gets a turnover. Offense goes 3 and out. Offense scores
on the 1 yard line.
Defense lets them come right down the field. We saw it again today with the block punt. You can't punch that thing in. I mean, play complementary football. One hand has to help the other. This Vikings team does not do that. One hand does good. The other hands, you got to shut up your fucking ass. And that's what they did today. And it might be the thing that gets the Vikings eliminated from the playoffs.
This was pathetic. The one thing I will say, first time at Lambeau, wonderful. Stop laughing at me. I can't help it.
Was it a good experience?
All I'll say is Lambeau was fantastic. I'll give him that. And also, I would say the amount of purple at the stadium was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would never expect to see that much purple anywhere, especially in such an important game for the Packers. But Packers fans were nice to me. I'll give them that. And the stadium was sweet. But tons of purple. You can't even guess what went wrong here. I mean, I heard TYA saying Greg Joseph That was the least of our worries. He could have kicked the thing with his ball sack. It doesn't matter. We couldn't do anything. It was pathetic. And I can't think of a worse game to see in person on the road than get that.
You picked a real turd.
I did. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad I was here. Because, and deep down, I got to be honest, I hope some way the Packers are the team we play in the playoffs round 1 at home. I'm not scared by the Packers. We just stepped on our dick with both feet.
Well, we did. And also everything that went wrong, I mean, went the Packers' way. A tip pass goes right into their hands. A strip sack bounces right to them. What else was there? There's a couple other things. But, you know, we have 10 men in the field. Kevin O'Connell doesn't call timeout. I mean, it was just everything went, we missed 2 field goals. Mason Crosby bounces one off the crossbar, goes through. Just one of those days where everything went wrong for the Vikings.
What's the general? I mean, what's everybody bitching about? Just Kevin O'Connell? What?
Kevin O'Connell, T-Bass came on, went on a rant.
T-Bass.
I know, it was shocking that T-Bass would be so pissed off.
All right, I got it. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go in the hot tub and drink some more beer. I'm very upset, but I'm not giving up. Playoff game at home.
Being there, what was your thoughts on the field condition? Because on TV it looked like shit. Players were slipping everywhere. Was it sloppy there? Did it rain the night before? Why was it so moist?
No. You know what? It did rain last night, but if anybody's putting this on field conditions, they're reaching.
I don't think anybody is, but it was definitely something that was showing up. I mean, guys were slipping.
No. I know what. I didn't even notice a single slip until you said that, to be honest.
Yeah, there was a couple slips, a couple lisps.
Absolutely murdered. We got killed. It wasn't even close. It was pathetic. It was disgusting. I'm not giving up. I'm excited for the playoffs, but that was disgusting.
It was bad. And I think maybe we do a video this week about it, but how does a team that's 12-3 or was 12-3, now 12-4, how do they lose? You know, this is the second, third game where we've lost by 30-something points. I mean, how does this happen? I don't understand it.
Yeah, my hope is that, you know, we have no idea every week what this team is going to bring. There's no reason why we should have shit this bed so bad as we did. The Packers, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was missing throws. They could have even beat us by more, but it makes no sense. And week in and week out, we're just going to have to realize that this Vikings team can come out and beat anybody every single week, and then we could absolutely get demolished every single week. We just have no idea what to expect. We're going to beat the Bears next week.
Yeah, the Bears gave up.
Game against the playoffs.
Bears are done.
And we're going to beat the living shit out of them.
We are. Are you driving back right now?
Yeah, I've been driving this whole time we're talking. No,
I hope not. No, how far is your hotel from the field?
Securely in the passenger seat.
Green Bay's not that big.
No, we're actually 40 minutes away. We're in Needham.
I could use some ham right now.
We got ways to go. You lose me?
All right. Yeah, kind of. We're gonna let you go. I'm gonna go to T-Man. He's ready to take over. All right, so I'm gonna bring Jacob T on here in a minute, but I want Jacob T to be ready to talk about this. I want Jacob T to be ready to talk about Jared Alexander, Justin Jefferson. Did Jared Alexander get in Justin Jefferson's head? If you want to say got into his heads, that's fine too. What's your thoughts on that, Jacob T?
Oh, I'm getting put on the spot here. Damn.
You are.
I guess with that, it's just like, yeah, I mean, the Packers, they had a game plan and they executed it, and you can't get mad at it. Like, they were able to frustrate him, and I think NFL defensive coordinators in the playoffs should know that the Vikings, I think if you stop Justin Jefferson, you stop this offense. Like, I think that's pretty obvious. And watching this game today kind of showed that. Like, all you got to do is because I mean, like, who are you going to trust? Hawkinson? I mean, it's such a frustrating game because even, like, I said this about the Cowboys game earlier in the year, even if they lost the Cowboys by like 8 to 10 points, no one would care, but they keep getting their fucking asses beat. And Nick Mullins throws 2 garbage time touchdowns, which, I mean, he might be the stud because he came in and didn't poop his pants. It's just a very frustrating game, and this was a Zim game, kind of like every year you count on this team not showing up once or twice a year.
This is like, I don't remember in the Zim era that we did this multiple times. This is a Kevin O'Connell thing.
I remember, and like, I mean, I can think of a few off the top of my head. 2015 Seattle in the regular season at US Bank, when it was at TCF where they got.
But it was one game, right? We don't always do this.
It's just, and I know
this is the third time. I mean, I'm counting the Colts game where we came back and won, but
I mean, the only game
don't see it.
Out of all the games they've lost this year, the only game that they were in was the Lions game, because they were in that game until they got beat on that ballsy play. And like, yeah, I mean, what Greg P said, everyone sucked. Like, it was a bad performance. Like, no, John, Josh Rosen is not the fucking answer. He is not the answer. No offense, John. He's not the fucking answer. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, the Niners just beat the Raiders. I think the Niners have all but clinched the 2 seed. The Vikings are probably going to play the Giants, because I think the Niners play the Cardinals at home, and the Cardinals are starting the Vikings practice squad quarterback at this point. It's just I don't know. I mean, listen, it's definitely a very, I think when the Packers ran that first kick return back for a touchdown, this was going to be one of the days in Vikings history, we'll go with. It's just such a damn frustrating game, because this team wins 12 games, and I get like this in the narrative is, oh, this team can't, oh, this or that. And like the Vikings literally just proved all of their doubters right with this game, which is very, very, very annoying. Like if they went and they lost like, I don't know, 38-41 and it was the game of the year, I'd be like, well, but they didn't. They play like complete horse shit. And this was very similar to that week 2 game in Philly, where they would get into the red zone and then they would have a dumb turnover. And that happened, what, 2 or 3 times?
This was closer to that than it was closer to the Dallas game. I think you're right.
No, at least with the Dallas game, the worst part about it is the Vikings defense held up for, I'd say, 2.5, 3 quarters. They just got gassed. The Cowboys game, they just got flat out their ass kicked in every way. Like, the thing is with the Packers were able to exploit the Vikings. It was very, very annoying, because like the Vikings, they had an opportunity to at least make this game close, maybe win it, but now you have to rely on the Lions to kick the Packers out. And I don't even think you
did feel like there was that chance to come back and win this thing in the third quarter. We were driving, we stopped them on, they had the ball first. We stopped them. We started moving the ball down, and then there was the interception. Or was that the strip sack? That was a strip sack by Kenny Clark. Again, I think the pressure came over the middle, over Chris Reed, who definitely had a tough game today. But it's a super tall task to ask your third string center to come in on the road. And I mean, he was snapping the ball. He had no idea when to snap that ball today.
Yeah, it was very frustrating to watch. And Brian O'Neill got hurt too, which is huge. And you can't excuse what was it, a 24-point loss, even though those 2 garbage time touchdowns. I know Naylor caught his first one. Admittedly, I kind of quit watching because I wanted to see how the Niners-Raiders game would turn out. And
how dare you?
I know. I want to see how our opponents end up facing. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, I had this feeling that this was going to happen. They would lose. Niners would win, because the Raiders are a garbage-ass team. Yeah. Not even garbage. Like, they showed up. Jerry Stidham, I can't even call them garbage. Raiders played well. I'm sorry, Raiders fans, the 2 of you watching in attendance, but it's just, sorry.
I mean, the Niners, I mean, they have an easy schedule and they have an easy road to get there.
Yeah,
I do think the Bears, watching the Bears today against the Lions, I think they've given up. You could see it after the first drive. That team just didn't give a shit anymore. They're playing for draft picks.
I feel for Justin Fields. I think he's actually going to be a really good quarterback.
He will be.
I think the issue with Fields is like they traded away all their talent. I mean, defensive talent. They didn't really have a ton of talent at the beginning of the year anyways. It's just, Jay Weisenborn, you're right. This team looks disorganized, confused.
Daywalker's back. He's been walking the nights lately, but Daywalker's here today.
I don't know. It's just, and I think that when it was 24-3 and they decided to send Joseph out there to take a field goal, that was a bad decision. They should have just went for it, because if you went for it, you think about it. Like, if they take a field goal, it's still a 3-possession game, and it's not a 3-possession. It's just, same thing with, and then the Packers go and kick a field goal at halftime off the doink, kind of like similar to the Vikings Saints game. And I guess we're kind of rambling at this point, but like people talk about like the Vikings' luck, and I don't know, maybe the Vikings struck midnight here, but I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Not yet.
I don't know. I just feel like Wink Martindale, because I'm guessing the Giants are going to probably play the Giants wildcard weekend. That would be my bet. I mean, at this point, because I mean the Niners have to play the 4-12 Cardinals again, who are starting our practice squad quarterback 3 weeks ago. David Blau was starting an NFL
He's
game.
more than just that. He was also the star of Hard Knocks.
Oh yeah, for the Lions too. I didn't watch Hard Knocks, so I know. I'm sorry, but I will.
Right.
I don't know. I just at this point,
Everybody's asking when is Bradbury back. I think Bradbury's back. It's got to be soon, right?
I cannot believe people at this point. If you
It's
told
true,
me this 4 months ago that people would be wanting Garrett Bradbury back, it'd be just. I mean, I get that he hasn't been great, but like
he's been fine this year.
He's been good. He's been a solid average left tackle. No, they shouldn't, Dirk. Like,
what did he do?
What did he like? Okay, that Greedy was annoying, but at the same.
Oh yeah,
time,
I know, but why did you want him suspended? I mean,
I know.
he can't talk. His English is horrible.
Exactly.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, what T-Bass said was right. They backed it up. Like you can't you guys gotta be like, they backed it up and they won. Like I cannot believe people are saying we need. It's just so funny that we're saying we need Bradbury.
Yeah, no, we do. I actually think we do. He's huge. I mean, as much as I wrote him off, as much as I thought he was not even gonna make the team this year, he's played better this year, and he definitely is somebody that when he's not on the field, we feel it. And we felt it when Schlottman first started, and now we miss Schlottman today. So the center position is huge. It's absolutely huge.
I have a question for you, Lupagus. Would you extend Garrett Bradbury?
Right now, I think I would. I think I would extend him.
Would you extend him to like a long term or to be like a short 1-2 year?
I would give him a prove it deal. I would low ball him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, oh my god, it's this again. Like in the 4 games lost this year, 3 of them they got blown out, and then I mean they were still playing Detroit. It's just, I don't know. This team is so goddamn frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I've been drinking Velvet Cokes for the last 2 hours, coping over this. So
Velvet.
Yes.
What is Velvet? What is
Black Velvet? It's just some cheap, shitty whiskey.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's whiskey. Okay, it brings you way back. It brings you way back to like when I was, seeing what was in Grandma's cupboard.
Hey, you got it. Modern problems require modern solutions, man. It's just, I don't know.
All right, Jacob T, I'm going to put you on hold.
I gotta get off. I'm going to
get
Montemita on here.
So we'll get you back on here. Come back for your bold prediction for sure. All right.
Oh yeah, see you, boys.
All right. Okay, I think BK is next. We're gonna start talking some defense here. Let's talk a little defense. BK, you ready to talk some defense with me?
Yeah, sure.
What'd you think of the defense today?
I don't know. It was a tale of two halves. I mean, the first half defense, I mean, the score looked bad, but I'm not going to put anything on the defense that first half. I mean, you had the kick return for the touchdown. Yep. And then obviously I think it was the first interception from Kirk, even though it was kind of like a batted up ball return back. So, I mean, 2 return touchdowns. And then, I mean, as other people have said, as the defense sits on the field for a prolonged amount of time, you get tired and you're more susceptible to the run game, the big pass game. And Green Bay, that fourth quarter, just kind of did whatever they wanted to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. If I'd have told you this, Aaron Rodgers was going to throw for 159 yards and 1 touchdown, what would you think? What do you think the Vikings were going to win that game, or do you think they'd lose that game? 159 and 1 from Aaron Rodgers today.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say lose, but it's like one of those things where it's like you either think in your head, we either got blown out, that's why he didn't have huge stats, or we either destroyed them, and that's why he didn't have huge stats. But I think I'd probably go with the latter, and that we blew them out. But obviously, that's not what happened.
No. Looking at some of the numbers, we're still talking defense. Let's see who did something. Cam Bynum led the team with 9 total tackles. Peterson had 6. Asamoah was out there quite a bit. He had 5 total. A bunch of guys had 5. Any sacks? Dylan Tomlinson, I thought, played pretty damn good today. He had a sack, tackle for a loss. Cesar Tomoya was out there again. Justin Jefferson's actually on the defensive stat sheet with a tackle. Ezra Cleveland is as well. That definitely means you turned the ball over. I mean, you look at Zadarius Smith. I mean, how good he was the first time against the Packers. He goes back to Lambeau, and he kind of lit a turd today.
Yeah, and I think that is like one of the more underrated stories of the season that like isn't talked about enough. The first 8 games of the season, Smith had like 10.5 sacks or 9.5 sacks maybe, somewhere around that number. He was right up there in all the voting for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, you saw his name everywhere, and it's like the last however many weeks now, it's like when he is out there, he is non-existent. Like you see him out there, but I mean, he's not getting to the quarterback. He's not making big run stops, and he's always had trouble in the run game, but he was better this year. But I mean, he's been non-existent for 5 or 6 weeks now. It's really something.
I feel like both those guys have been so up and down this year. Like, I mean, you'll forget about Hunter for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden he'll explode. Like, holy shit, there's been Hunter again. And then same with Zadarius Smith. It's been like, I feel like Zadarius has been a little more consistent than Hunter, but at the end of the year, they're both going to have good numbers. And you look at it, you know, and it's like, oh, they had good years, but it's just this up and down, I think, of all of it. That's really, that's really kind of made it frustrating. Cam Dantzler, is it me, or did he not show up until the scrubs were out?
Yeah, I noticed that too. I didn't see him at all till the very end of that game. So I don't know if they're just resting him for the postseason, or if this is like an official benching and they're just hoping he makes a play to reinsert himself back in. I don't know. Ever since he had that injury, and he spent, I think he only spent.
I'm a big fan of reinsertion. How about you?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, good.
But yeah, ever since he got back out there, I think he started that one game, and then he didn't even leave with an injury designation. They just pulled him like late in the first quarter. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's been odd since he's came back, but I don't know. Maybe they're just saving him for the playoffs. But you'd think they'd want to get something underneath him before he starts a playoff game.
Griddle guy confirms that Dangler got put in late. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just kind of odd. Like, as Duke Shelley usurped him on the depth chart. I don't know.
Yeah.
Makes and I mean, BK. Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, and I mean,
I want you to finish before you reinsert.
Earlier in the year was a total. I was pretty down on Duke Shelley. He had 2 really bad games back to back. But now that he's got that consistent playing time, he's been a pretty decent corner. I mean, he's really physical. He's been able to stay away from penalties. He's not a terrible tackler. I mean, the only knock you can give him is that he doesn't have size. So when he goes up against those bigger receivers, he's not going to win jump balls. But I mean, without Duke Shelley, I mean, the Vikings might be giving up 40-plus points every week right now. So, I mean, he's been kind of one of the saviors of the defense late in games. So, I mean, if he does start over Dantzler, I can't say that I'm too upset about it. I would rather just not see Chan and Sullivan out there.
Yeah, I mean, but there's no really other option for the nickel, which is weird.
That's very true. Yeah.
All right, BK, thank you so much.
Yes.
Come back later for your studs and turds.
Will do. Thank you.
I'm going to bring Mata Mida on next. Mata Mida is going to come on. We're going to talk a little special teams and maybe just what this loss meant for the Vikings. So let's go ahead and bring Mata Mida on next. I hope he's ready. Mata Mida.
Hey.
How you feeling, buddy?
Hey. Not great after this, but yeah, not great.
So I want to talk special teams with you. Obviously, Greg Joseph had his struggles today, but that's not even the first concern. My concern is the kick return touchdown we let up. I feel like this our coverage on whether it's punts or kicks has been a little bit loose lately. What do you think about that?
Yes, no, it's been loose. It's been horrible, which is weird because at the start of the season, the special team was great. And I don't know what's happened the last couple of games here, but it's just all slipped away, and they've started letting up long runs and just like, I mean, they'll come through with a good play like that block punt and stuff every once in a while, but like, it just, I don't know what happened, but they went from great to not good.
Yeah, no, it's been kind of a shocking change, and yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's happened, what's changed, but it's definitely something that is frustrating, and I'm concerned about. And I love Matt Daniels. I mean, the guy's fiery as hell, but his unit is starting to fail. Greg Joseph missed 2 field goals today. Are you concerned at all, or are you still on the high from the 61-yarder last week to win the game? What's your feelings on Greg Joseph right now?
I'm concerned. You can't make a 61-yarder like that, then come back in this game and miss 2
Wait, no, two
and
what?
missed 2 field goals.
No. Two what?
Missed 2 motherfucking field goals.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I just you can't like 50. You made a 61-yard game, and then you can't make a 50-yard. You can't make a field goal. 2. He missed 2, and that put a huge dent in it. I'm not saying we would have won or not if he made those, but it would have made a pretty big difference if he would have made those dang kicks. It's ridiculous.
It would have helped. It would have helped. And the one wasn't even really close. So special teams definitely not great today. I felt it was one of their worst performances of the year. And now the Vikings, I think they're the 3rd seed. San Francisco won. Philly lost. Huge opportunity to move up in playoff positioning. Vikings going as the 3 seed right now.
Now,
what's your right now it looks like we're playing New York Giants. How do you feel about that?
I don't like that we lost the 2nd seed, but I feel good about playing in New York Giants. If we can, get the team together here, we can beat the Giants. The Giants are beatable. They're nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They're beatable. If we can, Kirk Cousins can get back into form, and our defense can, if our defense can come together and make some good plays, which they've had in the past, we can beat the Giants. The Giants are beatable. We can win.
Good team. I respect them, but they don't scare me. They're actually a playoff matchup I want and I look forward to. I'd rather play them than the Packers and the Lions again. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. It's gonna be. I doubt we play any starters in that league unless they're holding on to that slim hope of beating the Bears and San Francisco losing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're in for a backup game next week.
You think we're gonna play backups next week? Like nothing's gonna matter?
I don't know. Maybe.
With the Eagles losing, I don't know. Maybe other people who have access to other channels right now. With the Eagles losing, so did they have 13 wins? I think they do. If we all end up 13 and whatever, we beat the Bears, Niners win, Eagles win. I don't know how this all shakes out as far as playoff seeding. So I think there's still something to play for next week. I really do.
Yeah, good.
But they haven't set the schedule either. There's Saturday games next week. So that could definitely factor in if it ends up being, if the Eagles play Saturday and if the Niners play Saturday and we already know our fate by Sunday, then I think you're right. I think this will be a backup game because what the hell's the point? We're going to be a 13 no matter what. We'll see. So we'll see how everything shakes out with the schedule. But yeah, you're right. It definitely could be a backup game.
Yep.
All right, Juanita, I'm going to bring you back on in a few minutes for Studs and Turds. I'm going to bring Skull TY back on to. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk some Kirk Cousins here. So so we'll see you in a little bit. Juanita, all right?
All right, see you.
Skull TYA.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk some Kirk Cousins. We didn't really touch on Kirk Cousins, our quarterback today. He ended up throwing I got the stats right here. 205 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, sacked twice for 18 yards. He had a 49.2 quarterback rating. What was your thoughts on Kirk Cousins today?
I think once Schlottman got hurt, which who would have thought at the beginning of the season with all the criticism of signing Schlottman? Oh, he's not good. He's not this. Once he got hurt, it was going to be a tough day because they got that dog across the defense.
Keep talking. I'm going to grab more beer
with Clark. So I think Kurt was gonna get pressure from up the middle. I don't really blame Kirk for today's game. I think Kirk played his ass off like he always does. So I really don't blame Kirk for today's game. But I think he stopped looking away from Jefferson. I think there was a couple of times where Jefferson was actually open.
Yeah.
And he decided that he was going to throw to KJ and TJ all day. So I really don't blame Kirk for this. Like I said, it's hard when you lose your starting center, and then your all-pro tackle goes out. So there's going to be, especially on the road, there's going to be some miscommunications. So and then Was he our leading? I think he was our leading rusher today, wasn't he?
God, he might have been. Let's see. He ran rushing yards. No, it was Madison. Madison at 38. Kirk Cousins had 37.
Madison got all those garbage yards at the end of the game. That's right.
He did.
But yeah, I mean, some of the interceptions. I think maybe that one might have been his fault, but the other two.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Well, I felt the one he was forcing it. It was late in the game. He was just trying to make something happen. But I think the plays where he was threading the needle that were working in the past, those weren't working today. But the tipped ones, that second one that floated, that was tipped, right? I didn't see it on replay.
Yeah, I think it was tipped. I think the second one was definitely tipped. So I don't really blame. I really don't blame Kirk for this. I mean, other than the other, I mean, his rating is because the thing about those ratings is when you throw interceptions, your ratings is never gonna take into the account of, well, this pass was intercepted because it was tipped, or this pass was intercepted because the receiver stopped and the defensive back picked it up. It doesn't take those into account, so the rating is kind of, it's like I remember there was actually somebody's talking about, all these, when you look at these stats, the PPF stats or the EPA stats, all those type of stats. Those stats are all good because that's just what some guy who knows numbers made up say, well, this is what you expect. Well, what did the actual numbers say?
Well,
the actual numbers.
Well, you touched on a good point here. So everybody was giving, Peter Bukowski, the Packers beat writer. He's the locked on Packers guy, going off about, Vikings are this and this because of these fucking weird, really in-depth stats that, these analytics that are pulling over their ass. And now we got to listen to this shit. I mean, this is what we're going to hear on all kind of Twitter. It's going to be on everything. And now with the Vikings getting their ass kicked, we got to listen to this bullshit for another week.
Well, I mean, we all know the media. There's one or two of them, but other than that, we all know the majority of the media hates Minnesota because it's flyover country. They don't care. And the only reason people talk about Green Bay is because they've been lucky. They've had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks 30 years in a row. So when Rodgers leaves, they'll go back to being irrelevant because they're just like Minnesota. They're flyover country. At least that's what I hope and thinking. But now I've had time to settle down, and the more I think about this game,
were you fired up because you've been talking the same since you came on?
Well, I just think this is everything that could have went wrong. Like I told my wife earlier watching it, I said everything could have gone wrong has gone wrong in this game.
I gotta be honest, I was more mad the first half of the Colts game than I ever was during this game.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Well, maybe because they're worse.
I don't know why. I hate it. I hate more losing the Packers. I hate the way we lost the Packers. I hate losing the Packers after what Jair said during the week, after what Bukowski was putting out there. It just pisses me off. But I guess what I go back and fall on is that we are kings of the North. We won the division. Yep. We have worst case for the third seed. We got a home playoff game, and we're definitely in.
And by the way, did anybody understand Jair?
No, that was horrible. What the fuck was he saying?
Was that English or what was that? I don't know.
It was bad. It was definitely bad. All right, I'm going to put the link out there for you guys to do your studs and turds. So definitely hop on with that. And remember, the word "wet" is in the link. I did not make that up. It just generated that way. Skull TYA, you're cool if I keep studs and turds on. Well, I'll keep you on with me here.
Yeah.
All right. Studs and turds. It is time. Think of your studs and turds. I'm gonna think of mine. I gotta think of my stud. I know who my turd is. Who the fuck? Okay, there's my stud.
I have my stud, but my turn. I'm gonna think long and hard about.
All right, let's start with. We'll start with this guy.
Hey guys,
man, what's up?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Who's your stud and turd? Say hi to Skull TYA. He's here.
Hey TYA, Happy New Year.
Hey, you too, man.
Oh, stud. I don't have very many studs.
No, makes sense.
I have a bunch of turds.
Who's your turds then?
Everybody on that offensive line.
Oh my god.
And Ed on the 10 needs to go. Do you agree with me, TYA?
No, I'm not going to blame him for this game because
not this game.
Tired.
He can go for other games.
I was looking at the stats today, TYA. Yeah. I might be wrong, Lambeau.
Yeah.
That we might. When they're comparing us to the Pittsburgh Steelers of 2020.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I don't know. I didn't.
Is that good or bad that we're compared to them?
Yeah.
Is it good or bad?
But I agree with him on the offensive line though, because Kirk Cousins has been sacked more his career this year more than he ever has in his career. So as much as we talked about how good the offensive line is, that was a pretty alarming stat when I saw that.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but is it me or did Oli Udo, was he actually serviceable today at right tackle?
Well, he didn't allow a sack. It was mostly coming up through the middle.
Actually thought he did.
I think Darisaw allowed one, which was that was surprising.
I watched that one. Yeah, didn't the guy like go through him too?
Yeah, it's like Darisaw's like, oh well, okay, we're down.
All right, be ready for this, Skull TOA, because this guy is angry. It's T-Bass. We're bringing him back on. He is just pissed off. Let's see here his Studs and Turds right now. T-Bass.
Hey, what up, T-Bass?
I got my beer. I'm calmed down.
You're calm
Can
down.
I ask you guys a question?
I got my my Moscow Mule. So
yeah, what's your?
Can I ask you a question? Is it a bad? Am I wrong to say Justin Jefferson is one of the turds of the game? You want to be the best of the game. You can't have games like this. You can't just blame it on coverage. You have to find you want to be great. You find a way to be great. And I
agree.
And I think you're right. I mean, Jefferson, I think, and I hate to say it, but I think Jair Alexander got into his head. He was very physical with him in the line. He was pushing him. He was hitting him. And I do think he got in Jefferson's head, and he got frustrated, and it showed. He had one of his worst games of the year, probably his worst game of the year.
I mean, going back to my namesake, because it's the catch 84.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Randy Moss was ever shut down like that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of that when you, before you said that. I'm like, I don't remember Randy Moss.
Chris Carter wasn't either. Chris Carter wasn't either.
Yeah, Randy Moss had bad games, but I don't think he ever had one for 15.
Chris Carter never had. He found ways to get open and get the ball. You want to be great and say, I want to be the greatest. You can't have games like that. Sorry.
But watching some of the film, there was times where JJ was open.
Yeah.
Or had a step on the guy and Kirk didn't throw it to him.
Well, at the time when he was covered by Preston Smith there, I mean, that was easy reception. And
we've said this before after some of these losses, but what scares me is the blueprint's out there again. You take away Jefferson, KOC does not have any clue on how to run an offense. And that scares me. And also, do we really want to play the Giants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second time this year.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Giants.
If you believe in trends, look what's happened this year after we played a team the second time. Detroit, Green Bay.
Well, to be honest with you, we shouldn't have beat Detroit the first time.
Yeah, true.
True, that's true.
All right,
okay, all right, T-Bass. Who do you got a stud and turd then? Jefferson's your turd.
I think, I would say Osborne again is my stud. Played with emotion, sense of urgency. Didn't see a whole lot of that on the Vikings, and to me, that's how you get a C on your chest. That's a captain's attitude. So that's probably my stud.
T-Bass, we love you. Your anger is making me sad. I can't argue with a lot of what you're saying though.
I'm calmed down. All right.
Are you? What are you drinking? What was that in your hand there?
It's Cigar City Indian Pale Ale.
Okay. Where are you at?
Florida.
You're in Florida. All right. Awesome. All right, T-Bass, we love you, man.
And if you're ever in Jupiter, try Monk in the Trunk.
I've been there.
Okay.
Ran into Joe.
Well, that's where I'm from, so that's why.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Take it easy, guys. We'll see you Wednesday, T-Bass.
Yeah.
All right. So let's bring on. Let's see who else has been waiting here. We got a couple. We got this guy, this son of a bitch right here. Doesn't turds, Wilbar. Still driving. Where the fuck is your hotel?
I don't know. I'm driving. All I see is cows and just people milking them completely nude. I'll make this quick. Turd. Kevin O'Connell, 100%.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson had 5 targets, and like 2 of those things were tipped. I'm not putting any of this on Justin Jefferson. Throw him the fucking ball. Throw him the ball. Stretch the field. Kevin O'Connell.
There's that lisp.
He can eat my ass this game. It was horrible play calling. Horrible play calling. My stud is Lupagus for holding down the fort, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Whooping some ass. And also, second stud, Skull 2A, obviously. Third stud, Ken Williams, still continuing to look like Garth Brooks. Look at that, man.
His album drops this Wednesday.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Ken Williams looking damn good. But, hey.
Well, he definitely got friends in low places tonight.
One game. Let's get it behind us. Let's get it over. Horrible. Right. I will say this. Watching Alexander do the gritty after batting early in the game made me want to vomit out my dick. It was horrible. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. We're going to get them in the playoffs. Next week, the Bears. Let's go, baby. Nobody get 2 down. And Lupagus, well done. Well done, baby.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I hope you get your hotel sometime, one bar. What the hell? Long drive. It's got a hell of a discount. I'm going to bring on this guy because he's had a lot of energy every time he's come on. He must be home now for Christmas break, but I wonder how he feels about this one. SSM Creations. Hey. My man, what's your take on this shit show?
What up, SS?
I'm doing great, School 2I. How are you?
All right.
All right. How I'm kind of taking this game, it's obviously rough. You never want to lose to Green Bay. But I'm trying to look at this going into the future because right now the Vikings, they don't have all that much to play for. Yes, that 1 seed would have been absolutely wonderful, but I never really believed we'd get that, as well as the 49ers. So they just won. And the 49ers are my stud. I know it had nothing to do with this game because now us being the 3rd seed, I would rather play the Giants than take a shot at Detroit or Green Bay again. And that's just because I know we mentioned trends earlier and our record isn't there, but like there's something about Detroit being so scrappy and Dan Campbell screwed us basically both times we played them. And then today we played in Lambeau. Who knows how much that affected the team and at Skull, whatever. I would just rather take a shot at the Giants again because I think that's the most realistic part of the win. And I'm actually seeing right here, my honorable mention stud is going to be Josh Metellus because that guy is a special teams ace now. He's becoming one of my favorite players to watch in special teams. I love that guy. I want him back whenever his contract is up. And then Turd, I mean, we've talked about a lot of the Turds in this game already. To name out one specific person, Ezra Cleveland, I feel had a really sloppy game. Between all of his penalties, he had like that 2 in a row, and I don't know.
He's also playing next to Chris Reed.
That's also very true. He's actually probably.
Does anybody call for Chris Reed anymore after this game?
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. It's we also mentioned it earlier, but can't believe that we missed Austin Schlottman. And
who would have thought it? He was the key to this game.
Mm-hmm. It really was.
He was. All right, SSM. Thank you, man.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, you take care, buddy. All right. This motherfucker's smoking. Let's see who this guy is. Benjamin David, what's up?
What's going on?
You watch this shit show?
Oh yeah, I had a theory that Romo went and blew the whole Packers team at halftime.
Yeah, you got a sense of that during that whole.
Yeah, we haven't won. We've never won a game that he's broadcast.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. They flat out said it on air.
I like him as a broadcast, but God, dude, shut up! It was so annoying. Like,
it was brutes. It was brutes.
I've been thinking that maybe my theory is that this team wears itself out because we're always playing from behind. We're always having to catch up, and mentally and physically. I'm just wondering if that's just it wears on them, and then they get blown out and beat like this because they just think they don't have much left in the tank. So
that's a good point.
I'm just wondering if that's the case because like you just can't keep playing like this and expect to be fresh the next game and go against. Especially, I mean, the Packers were there, man. They were assholes. They were ready to play.
They were fired
up. The whole team.
I can see the point to that because the emotional comeback they had against the Colts, and then they had another emotional game against the Giants. And the Packers are on a winning streak where they really haven't beaten anybody good. Mm-hmm. And then they were fired up for the game. I just maybe Minnesota couldn't match the emotion because of everything they've been through the last couple of weeks.
We got breaking news by Schizo Rick. Turns out Nance He had an orgasm when Jared did the gritty. I didn't know that.
Oh, that pissed me off. Oh, that pissed me off so bad.
And how is that not taunting? I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Like,
dude, they were all over, like grabbing and like,
yeah,
they had an attitude. And
it was 100% molestation on that play, and you're gonna do a dance after that. It should have been a flag.
But we all know they don't call that in Green Bay.
No.
They call penalties on Green Bay at the end of the game to make it look like it was even.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my brother-in-law. He was in the NFL for 7 years. He played for the Vikings for 7
Who was
years.
it?
Eric Frampton.
Oh yeah,
He's a
great
special
singer.
team stud. Yeah. And I asked him about if these emotional comebacks and stuff wear on you, and he says that's 100% true. They do.
Oh,
So
Eric Frampton, he was a hell of a special teamer, if I remember right.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a super humble dude. You'd
37,
never even
right?
know.
Well, if you can get him on the show, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, he wore.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Yeah, I bet
Really?
he would. Yeah, he's a super nice guy, man. Super nice guy.
All right. Well, Benjamin, who's your stud of the game?
The punter. I don't know.
He's punted like once, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
but he did have a guy in his face when he punted.
He didn't.
Oh
God, we got. Look at Robin says Schraubman fractured fibula. He's done for the year.
Guys, I do not want. What's his name starting?
Chris Reed.
Chris
Hopefully
Reed starting.
Bradbury's back. Give him a nice massage. He'll be ready to go. All right, Benjamin, who's your stud?
Stud. Yeah, I don't know, man. Shelley, I guess. Dude,
Yeah.
Shelley is just impresses me, man. That guy's got a dog in him, and like you see how small he is when he's standing next to everybody. Just a little dude, and I'm so impressed with him, man. Like I got more forgiveness when he gets beat on some things, but like when he broke up that pass in the end zone, that was awesome. That guy has just got attitude for days. I love it. I love that.
I like
guy.
him too.
Yeah, he's
plays
5'9"
much
on
bigger.
box.
Yeah, he plays much bigger than he is.
When he was laying on the ground in the end zone, you just saw the size difference. It looked like a little kid out there.
Yeah.
And he still got up there and broke that pass up. He does it every game. There's like some main pass that he breaks up. He's a stud. I love him.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, Benjamin, you get Eric Frampton on the show. We'll definitely send you some swag. One bar Lupagus at Gmail. Work this thing out. Appreciate you coming on, man.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, take it easy.
Later, man.
Before I forget, this flag behind me, that was part of the Brad Anderson package he sent me. I got a shower curtain, another flag. So thank you, Brad, for that.
The shower curtain was sweet.
Yeah, right? I can't wait to shower with it. I'm so excited. So excited. All right, let's bring this familiar son of a bitch on. You guys all know this mug. I'm starting to warm up to it. I think he might be actually handsome. He might be underrated handsome. It is our boy Davey Chains.
TYA, good to see you, buddy.
Hey, you too, man.
I love the beard.
Yeah, just got a trend. My wife, still thinks it's still too long. But
you and Dave from Climbing the Pocket should have a beard off. See who's got the best beard.
I am sexier.
Your wife's thighs can be the judge.
Yeah, you're a one hot son of a bitch, let me tell you. Anyway, I've kind of cooled down a little bit from before, but I tell you, I'm going to go right to turds. Here are my two. Actually, I got two co-turds.
Here's the story here. Ken Williams,
two.
Catches elbow.
Not just one, but two co-turds. That has to be Kevin O'Connell and Ed Donatel. As much as I despise blaming coaches for players' poor performance, but like I said earlier, before I got knocked off, how do you wind up with one man short and then too many on the other? There's absolutely no excuse for that. And, I think they deserve all the blame. There's a lackluster performance. The first half, the defense looked okay. I got to give them credit. I actually thought it was going to be a close game. But, when you block a punt and you get the ball at the 1 yard line, you got to punch it in. I'm sorry.
Not what we do this year.
You got to punch it in. 3 points. And once we blocked the punt and we didn't punch it in, you kind of felt the air go out of the balloon. And from there, as much as I love Greg Joseph, and I don't want to put him in the back in the doghouse, there was a lot of pressure on him now to get points on the board today. That's not fair. The players should have, a lot of players should have come through. I understand injuries are part of the game, but this time of the year, bad news. It's bad news to get injuries, especially going to the playoffs, because, the other teams, they're just going to push our second and third teamers around. And it just, we're going to be one and done. But I will, who's going to be my turd? You guys are going to love not my turd, my stud. This is my stud. These are my stud of the game, the Minnesota Vikings. The whole team as a whole is my stud, because when we lose in style. We lost on all facets of the game. Now, when teams lose, they only lose a bad play here, a bad play there. I mean, we just stunk the joint out from the top down to the bottom. And you got to admire something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we shit everywhere.
Yeah. No heartbreaking losses.
But you know what? Another thing, here's the thing, when Vegas makes us an underdog, that's what I've noticed. When they make us an underdog, we lose.
Yeah.
T-basketball. My question is, what happened to the outside runs on the goal line?
Yeah.
Or the play actions. That looked like a Zimmer offense. Changed to Cook up the middle.
Yeah.
So, Davey, who was your turd then?
Actually, it was co-turd. Kevin O'Connell and Ed Donovan. Yeah.
You were going off. I forgot.
Yeah.
I love the passion.
Yeah. It's the passion. You got to be passionate to be a Viking fan. You got to take the good and the bad.
It's not easy.
And that's why, that's why half of us are on Xanax and the other half are on Wellbutrin, Anyway, good to see you guys as always. Yep. TOIA, good to see you, buddy. I'll see you guys Wednesday.
Yep. All right, see you, Davey.
Take care, buddy.
I think Davey may have just got us two sponsors, Wellbutrin and what was the other one?
Xanax.
Veltrix, is that for herpes? I don't remember. All right, let's get this handsome son of a bitch. I don't know. Let's get this handsome son of a bitch back on here. BK. All right, studs and turds. Who you got?
Okay, so my turd isn't necessarily a person, but I guess it's I don't even know what you call it, but I just say it's the inability when we lose to stop the bleeding. Like we're 12-4, so it's tough to complain, but I've never seen a team step on their dick so much when they lose games. I mean, they had chance after chance today to make a play. I mean, even when the game was at a reach and we had the ball, I think at the 20, and Cousins fumbled, it was of course he fumbled. It was of course this was going to happen. We weren't going to score no matter what happened.
Well, and that was the last grasp. I mean, we still had the hope for the comeback. That was what deflated the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And it just seems like you watch some of the really high quality teams play. If the Chiefs get down huge, all of a sudden Mahomes will rip a 60-yard rocket down the field out of nowhere, and you're like, holy shit, how did they just do that? And they stopped the bleeding. They might lose the game. Even against Cincinnati last year, they lost. Yeah. But it was they got themselves back in that game and somehow made it a game. So I just hope that if it does happen in the playoffs, if we do get down, I just hope that there's something that O'Connell looks at and maybe says, we're going to change the way we go about when we are losing games, maybe try a screen game, maybe try a huge throw down the field on 1st and 10, when no one sees it coming, just send Jefferson on a quick fly route and just whip it 60 yards down the field. But that's my turd. My stud's KJ Osborne. I love Adam Thielen. He'll always have a special place in my heart as a Vikings fan, but he's just too old. He's not quick. He's had troubles with drops this year. He's not getting open. KJ needs to be the guy taking those routes every game. Every time he touches the ball, he's electric. He breaks tackles. He has great hands. So I think KJ is going to be a huge part of this team next year. And I love Adam Thielen, but his time's coming to an end.
All right, BK, well said, well done. Thank you for hopping on. Thanks for helping us out when One Bar was not here. You are the man.
Have a good one.
You are the man. Speaking of the man, here he is, the myth, the legend, the man with the 14-foot inch. It makes sense, the 14-foot dick. Matamidai.
Hey!
Studs and turds. Who you got, buddy?
All right.
Hello.
My stud, which I can't even believe I'm saying this, but it was this game is motherfucking Nick Mullins, just for putting life and getting some touchdowns on the board, just for doing something. It's Nick Mullins, and in my turd,
Nick the Dick, they call him.
Yes, my turd will probably be I don't know. My turd is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Kevin O'Connell, just for that playing calling today. It was not a great game. And in my cold turd just would be the anchors, the announcers. My God, I can't stand Tony Romo's announcing. It is. I wanted to throw something at the TV. Like I can't stand him. It's ridiculous. Like it's so one-sided. It's so one-sided. He's so biased. And like, oh my God, I hate it. I hate it.
I appreciate you calling them anchors, by the way. Well done, Matamidai. All right, Matamidai. Give us a positive note. Leave us on something positive here.
Yes, I was going to get to that. Something positive is, even though this was a shit show of a game, the fact of the matter is we are 12-4. This has been a unbelievable season of comebacks and stuff. I'm not just going to straight up give up on this team. There's hope. We can do this. We can win. We can win a playoff game. We can do this. I'm not giving it home. This was a shit show of a game, but we still need to support our Vikings because they're our Vikings, and they can do this.
Are they our Vikings? Or are they? Yes, there you go. That's what I was looking for. Well done, Matamidai. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Matamidai. We love you, buddy. All right, Skull TYA, it's time for your studs and turds. We're going to start with the negative. We're going to start with the turd. Who is your turd of the game?
I think I'm just going to echo a lot of other people. I think I'm just going to say KOC. Mm-hmm. What we saw today was a first-year head coach going up against a guy who's won 13 games for 3 years in a row. Then he's in his fourth season. So they definitely made adjustments from the first game. I think that's the one thing, as T-Bass brought up. Maybe that's the struggle of him being a first-year head coach, is that he doesn't make adjustments as well as other teams do. He makes great halftime adjustments, but in the second game adjustments, I like I said, like when I brought up with Davey, why run up the middle? Especially with the backup center or the third string center. Why not do, like, at the beginning of the year, we were doing all these sweeps around on the goal line. We were doing fakes and like the tight end to run all those catches and stuff that he had in the play actions. I just think today was probably his worst game that he coached.
Yeah, and I don't want to be Mr. Repetitive here. My turn was also KOC, and you mentioned it. You get the goal line situation, the block punt, and this team has struggled with complimentary football all year long. One side does good, the other side doesn't do it, and we saw it again today. And like the play calling in that situation was so bad. We dive. I think we dove the play that Schlotman got hurt, and then your third string center comes in, a guy who can't even get the snap count right. And again, I get it; it's a hostile environment. I'm not blaming Chris Reed for this, and I'm surprised no one actually gave Chris Reed as a turd. But you gotta give him some slack. He's really
that's why
he's thrust into a horrible situation here in this game. But then you go the next play, you dive it right up the middle again. I mean, what the hell? What the hell is that? You're supposed to be this creative, offensive genius. Why can't you come up with something a little bit better than that situation. To me, the dive was just so vanilla, and we keep doing. And Delvin Cook's not really, he's not a pounder. We don't have that guy. I mean, maybe it's Madison, but it's Delvin Cook, and he kind of turns his shoulder, and he loses momentum right away. So I hated that. I hated the 10-man situation there where the announcers clearly saw it. You saw the defense looking at the sideline, basically saying, "Hey, we got 10 guys waiting for the timeout." I think even the Packers are waiting for the Vikings to call a timeout. Yeah. It never came. So what the shit? So I don't know. To me, it was KOC, not a game. And I've honestly, the last 3-4 games, I've not been impressed with his play calling and the way he's handled these games. And I think his rookie head coach is really kind of showing his head. And again, we're 12-4. I'm not going to complain. I feel like I shouldn't say too much about this, but when he has a shit game, you got to call him out on it. And today was a shit game for KOC.
Yeah. I mean, he did give it. We do have 12 wins, so it can't be all that bad. I think he blew his chance of coach of the year.
Yeah.
In the running after today's game, so that's probably out.
Not blaming Chris, but again, I mean, here's the thing with a new center, and it's a guy. The timing's off. You saw a couple times where he even snapped the ball, and the right tackle's moving. But you look at it like Oli Udoh was also thrust into the right tackle spot, which was, and that's where Oli Udoh's value is undervalued, which maybe doesn't make sense, but he's usually the backup left tackle, but he swung over to the right side. It's a whole different, your handset's different, your position is different. He played pretty damn good. So Oli Udoh, for being that, you compare it to what Chris Reed did at center, you got one guy stepping up playing well and the other guy stepping up playing like shit, and the guy who played like shit was clearly at more of a key position, I guess, today.
Yeah, that was actually my stud.
Okay, so who is your stud?
Oli
Udoh.
We give him so much shit that when he messes up, it's front and center. So we got to give him praise when he plays well. I don't think he gave up. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the numbers yet, but most of the pressure came from Darrisaw in the middle. Yeah. I think once he came into the game, I don't think much pressure came from the right. I mean, I could be, like I said, I haven't seen the stats, so I don't know how many pressures he gave up, but it didn't. When O'Neal went out and he came in, it did not affect the team as much as Schlottman going out and I can never remember Reed coming in. Mm-hmm. So if you want to look at it that way, because there's not too many choices for studs today.
There really isn't, and it's it's gonna be tough doing my winners video here in a little bit, but I will power through and I'll try to find a couple. So that makes sense. Udoh, I mean, when he came in and I saw he was playing right tackle, and I was waiting for the shit to hit the fan, and I never really felt like the pressure came from his side. Yeah. My stud, I'm actually going to go with Jalen Naylor for giving us that explosive play. I tweeted it out during the game. I'm like, we just need the one explosive play to get us back in this thing. Right. Who's going to give it? And it was finally Jalen Naylor. The fact was that it just came too late. It came 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was my honorable mention.
Yeah, so it's good seeing Jalen Naylor do that, get that confidence, and maybe down the road we will need him. But the fact he did it, good for Jalen Naylor. Well done. He is my stud today. So we've got a couple of late coming in here. Duke Shelley getting a vote. Purple Haze says everybody sucked. Purple Haze is just pissed off. He must be smoking some bad
That's
shit
how it was
today.
when I first came on here.
All right. So anyway, Vikings lose to the Packers. It sucks. We also lose on a day when the Niners do win and the Eagles lose. We could have moved up instead. Now we are looking at the 3rd seed. It is what it is. But again, who knows? Maybe in the long run, it'll play out in the Vikings' favor. I do want to say, you look at the options. Giants, I would rather play them. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. They're compared to Green Bay. Because remember, I can't remember who brought it up. There was a commentary who said whenever the Packers have the 1st seed, they get tight. But whenever they get in as a wild card, they play loose. So they're dangerous when they're a wild card. And Detroit, I don't know. I think Detroit knows how to play us. So I would definitely rather see the Giants. I'm not scared of their offense at all.
No, me neither. Danny Dimes, he will make mistakes. He will make some bad throws. So that's it. That is it. Thanks for everybody for hopping on. Thanks for you guys for hopping on. Thanks to Skull TYA Catch 84 for hopping on. Well done, everybody. Again, Fortunately, the Vikings lose to the Packers, got their asses kicked at Lambeau. It sucks, but it is what it is. We love this team. We'll keep riding. We are Kings of the North. We are 12-4, and for that, we'll always be happy. And remember this: the giant sea cucumber uses its anus as a second mouth. Very, very important to know.